Gracias, chico.
De nada. That is so cool. I got you.
Hey, thanks.
No problem. Hey, you think you're gonna add that new Spider-Man too?
The kid? Yeah, maybe. Original's just my guy, you know?
Yeah, I know. Hey, is Teo's Bodega around here?
Yeah, bright yellow sign down the block. Can't miss it.
Thanks. Beautiful work, by the way. Maybe leave a little room for the new guy. Secret identity thing completely stresses me out.
Let's cut to the chase. Is Spider-Man Miles Morales the game you need to have for your PS5 at launch? It absolutely is the game you should have at PS5's launch. It is the cornerstone. It is the best representation of what you can see so far on a next-gen system. It definitely lives up to what a Spider-Man game can be on a next-gen system. Miles Morales as a character is amazingly fun to play with, super smart, plucky, nerdy, and all of his wonderful Afro-Latino-ness. It's one of those things that when it really comes together, it showcases exactly why the culture matters in a game like this. Alongside that, one of the other major themes is all around relationships. It's not just the ones you see from a superhero to villain story. It's the ones that you see more wrapped around family and culture, which is fantastic. There are small moments and small little incidents that happen where, you know, you're going to go pick a record for your mom to play during Christmas, or you're all sitting around the dinner table to have dinner with your friends and family. Those things really stuck with me as a person who misses those interactions now and doesn't have those kinds of things in my life. It was really cool to be able to see this played out through these characters and through this main story that we all kind of know and love and understand, which was fantastic. I think one of the other things that really stuck with me was just how much this game was an homage to my favorite town in the world, New York City. You know, they've magically captured, Insomniac did, the sights and sounds of the city. It feels like a snowy New York with puddles on the ground and beautiful reflections off the sidewalks and off the buildings. It felt like all those things that I remember when I used to go and make my trips from 34th Street Macy's to the Village, or, you know, going from 110th Street to 125th Street to go cop some gear. It felt like the city was alive in different ways, and I wonder how much of that is due to it being on the PS5 and being on next-gen systems and having all that extra power under the hood to be able to kind of realize the city in a bigger and better way than they were able to do in the first game. You know, I love that part. I think it was interesting that they did that in that way. I am a little bit disappointed though that with some of the ideas around next gen was that we were going to get bigger and broader and kind of wider scopes of, you know, the way that the cities work, or the way that New York worked. And it's a little bit disappointing to feel like we're still stuck on just Manhattan's Island. We're not able to go to the outer boroughs. And I would have thought that with the expand of next-gen systems and all the horsepower that we have, that we would be able to go to some of those places and make sure that we were able to stop crime in all the outer boroughs too. But I'm hoping maybe that's DLC. Maybe that'll be a thing that we get at some point later, but a little bit disappointed that that was not the case. From a gameplay standpoint, it feels exactly like Spider-Man did in the previous game, alongside some new powers that you get, some new Venom powers that you get from Miles Morales this time around. Most of the combat feels pretty similar to the previous game. I think that is a good thing, because that fighting style and gameplay style was pretty tight. It definitely does feel like they have given Miles some new tools to play around with that I think are actually really important and interesting, and I want to see them expand on those. But in terms of the natural fighting style and his nimbleness, and they've definitely reflected all those things in ways that show not only his flair but his ability to maneuver in ways that older Spidey doesn't. All that fighting comes in handy when you're fighting new villains. I think that the new villain that they have as the main baddie in this game, the Tinkerer, is really interesting as a character. I loved playing against them. It felt like they and their crew, the Underground, definitely did change up the way that you had to think about and tackle the fights you needed to go into. It was really awesome to see how their powers evolved throughout the story, how the kind of origin story of the Tinkerer kind of came to be, and some of the kind of intricacies of how, you know, Miles and the Tinkerer kind of interacted throughout the story. It is going to be a thing that I think, if you are a player who really cares about story, I feel like they have done a good job of bringing this character to life, having that character in the space in a real tangible way, and seeing just how, you know, their motivations actually like brought the story together in a really different way that I didn't expect. You could kind of also find that the Tinkerer was maybe even an anti-hero in some ways if you kind of dig into the story and look at it from a different angle, which was also super fascinating to see as well.
I don't know if I'm ready to fly solo. I screwed up today big time with the helicopter.
But then you delivered big time. You saved my bacon, Miles.
I got lucky.
Hey, I did this gig for 8 years without backup, and you better believe I screwed up lots of times. But that is how you learn.
What's this?
Christmas present. But first, you gotta take the oath.
Oh. Okay.
I promise to do everything in my power to protect this city.
I promise.
Alongside all the kind of usual trappings of a Spider-Man game from Insomniac, I think that they have done a fantastic job, not only of tightening up the story. I felt like the previous game was a little bit long in the tooth. I felt like it was a little bit too broad in the way that it kind of tackled a lot of different things and didn't really respect your time in that way. Spider-Man Miles Morales absolutely respects your time. It is probably around a 10 to 20 hour story. Everything feels really snappy. You being able to pick missions through your Spider-Man app that your friend Genki has made for you is brilliant and makes a really smart direction choice for how they want to do that work. I think that one of the really cool things about all that is that you can get from one mission to another mission pretty quickly, you know, flying around the city. That felt smart. That always felt good. That always felt like, you know, one of the major parts of the Spider-Man games that felt like they nailed that part of locomotion and being able to run through things. Spider-Man Miles Morales from Insomniac Games is the best game you can buy for next gen right now. It is the first game to showcase and show off the new tech in a way that actually is tangible. There's a lot of small details that you're going to see in next gen, from faster loads to ray tracing to, you know, bigger, more expansive worlds. I think that this is the first really next gen game that you're going to get on the system, and it winds up that it's on the PS5. I'm hoping to see them build this game out into a bigger way, with it having a more tighter story and a quicker gameplay loop. This makes me actually really excited for more of what this story can be, and some of the DLC that I'm sure is going to be coming down the pipe. I spent multiple hours in the photo mode like I usually do, captured some fantastic pictures that you might have seen on our social media. And it makes me, again, really excited for not only what we're going to see from a gameplay standpoint, but from a technical standpoint on the PS5. I think that the DualSense controller integration was pretty brilliant and smart. It's really subtle, but it does actually come through in ways that you can kind of feel and hear, and that's what they want you to do, you know, from swinging around and feeling the tension on the triggers, to the powers that you have and your Venom powers kind of coming through the small speakers on the DualSense, to the interactive rumble that you have within the controller as well, feeling like when you're taking a punch or giving a punch, you can feel that in the controller. It really is the, you know, the feather in the hat for the Sony PlayStation 5. I think that they have figured out ways, and they will continue to figure out ways to build upon that in good and smart, interesting ways. But I think that they have figured out, especially with Spider-Man Miles Morales, that they have found a good middle ground to give you the feeling like you are a Spider-Man, while also giving you all the control of a character that you know and love. I am infinitely excited for more Miles Morales. I'm infinitely excited to see where they're going to take this character, and I'm infinitely excited to see where they're going to let the culture go within the story as well. Much love to you all. Thank you so much for checking out our review. We have more stuff coming for you on Spawn on Me's YouTube channel. We'll see you all soon. Peace.